Hey, Chargers fans, if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, I just wanted to start with a very quick bit with me explaining how this works. We have representatives from Charger Chat, Locked On Chargers, Chargers Brawl, and the Guilty as Charged podcast here today to represent potential coaching candidates. Alex will be Jason Garrett, Stephen will be Brandon Staley. From Locked On, we have Daniel as Arthur Smith, and John as Eric Bieniemy. From the Charger Chat podcast, we have Kevin as Urban Meyer. And finally, from Chargers Brawl, we have Jake as Robert Saleh and Dan as Brian Dable. I will completely mess those names up as I go, so I apologize. I will be asking all of them the same two questions to start before we switch, and I ask them more candidate-specific questions. Some of these guys have taken on the persona of their candidate and will answer like their candidate would. It's less of a personal opinion and more of a candidate-specific response. So Kevin may not agree with how Urban Meyer would respond to a certain question, but he will try to answer like him. I will be asking serious questions. However they answer them is entirely up to them. Who prepared the best for this interview? I don't know. I guess I'll find out soon enough. All right, so let's get into it. We are no longer ourselves. I'm no longer Tyler. I'm Tom Telesco. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Telesco of the Los Angeles Chargers. Hiring a brand new coach is a difficult process, but we're fortunate enough to have all of you somehow meet on Zoom at the exact same time. Apparently, everybody was free today, including Brian, who was able to find the time to Zoom with us while coaching an NFL game. That's pretty incredible.
Impressive.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we are looking for specific answers. I'll be asking specific questions, but I'm not looking for a specific candidate. So without further ado, let's get into our first question. And our first question is this, and it's for everyone, and we'll go down the list. Simply this: what is wrong with my team? Identify what you think are one or two of the most glaring issues with the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'll start with Brandon.
Yeah, so I think, just from an outside perspective, I think, there's a lack of attention to detail, specifically on special teams. That's something that I've always prided myself as a candidate and coaching the Rams and the Bears and even before that at John Carroll University. When you're coaching a little D3 school like that, you've really got to focus on the details. And I think that's something that I would be able to bring to this franchise and specifically help this team, get over the hump in terms of winning the AFC West and contending for a Super Bowl.
All right. Eric, how about you? Eric Bieniemy, how you doing there?
For some reason, I felt like you were talking about one of the real names on here. I totally did not react to my own name. Well, I feel this team doesn't really take practice serious. I feel like they don't maximize their personal experiences that they learned from practice from yesterday or the next day. And I feel that shows in their game tape. So I feel this team needs a better adjusted practice routine, especially when it comes to training to prevent injuries and to be ready for the next game. When you saw with your previous coaches, whether it be Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, or whoever, that this team was not ready and they did not adjust well to game situations. I feel having a coach that can prepare for games and using practice as that way of preparing would help this team a lot.
Very nice. How about Jason?
Well, some of the things that I look at with the Chargers is the first thing is you got to have that high-powered offense. And right now, the play calling just doesn't benefit the offense right now, right? Talked about things with Justin Herbert and getting better play calls for him. And the second issue is injuries. The only under 500 season that I had in Dallas was when we went 4-12, and Tony Romo and Des Bryant and many main contributors got hurt. So you look at the Chargers, they have a lot of talent that's been just held back by injuries like Derwin James, unfortunately Joey Bosa. You just want to get that offense and defense going. And I think if we, have a little bit better strength and conditioning luck and we implement a bit more dynamic offense like we did in Dallas, I think you can get this team right into playoff contention.
Very nice. Thank you. Brian, how about you?
No, I got to shoot straight. This team just lacks accountability. Ever since I've been a coach back with Bill Belichick, there's no excuses. And you look at this team, there's a lot of excuses, and you see a lot of mistakes happening more than once. My job is to teach folks how to do it. And you look at this team from my past, I've been a wide receivers coach, a quarterbacks coach, a tight ends coach, offense and defensive side. I got to teach these players how to do their job, and then I expect them to do it. And right now, this team, it looks like, does not know where to be or how to do it. That's my job. I see your team. You guys have so much potential, but you need somebody to take the reins and take over.
All right. Hey, Arthur, how about you?
Well, for me, with this team, the two things I've seen are game planning and finishing. I think that's a big part of the Chargers' problem right now. And I think whether it's going into the game without a reliable game plan, whether that's making halftime adjustments and being able to bring that into the second half, this team has a problem. And I think with finishing, you're talking about not just finishing games, finishing halves, finishing in the red zone. A lot of points left on the table from this team, whether it's special teams, whether it's coaching and just having, drives fizzle out in the red zone. I think those are big problems with this team. And as a former offensive lineman for North Carolina, I can tell you that the offensive line is also a very big problem.
Very nice. Urban.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to say is that I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubble gum. And a secret I'd like for you guys to know is I've never chewed bubble gum. I'm here to only kick ass. So I think the biggest thing you guys need is to win football games. And if you look at my record, I'm 187-32. That is only one win less than your current coach's 4-year stint with the Chargers. So if you want a winner, a real winner, I don't know why I'm talking like this. I don't know why I'm going all south, but I'm Urban Meyer. I can do what I want. Hire me for your coach. Let's go. Game on.
Very nice. Robert, last but not least.
Well, Tom, first off, before I answer your question, I want to thank you for this opportunity to come on here and interview to be the Chargers head coach. And I just wanted to make one thing perfectly clear. Some people may look at me as in your face, yell, rah personality. And I think that's a misconception. Hang on 1 second, Tom. Yeah, honey? Yeah. There's a piece of flimsy bacon on my breakfast here. When do we talk about this? Winners don't eat flimsy bacon. Crispy bacon on the table, or I'm putting you on the bench. But no, seriously, Tom, I think that we have a lot to really look forward to with the talent on this team. Creatively, I can get the most out of all the players that are on this team. You can't just simply rely on your stars. Look what I did with the injuries that were in San Francisco this year. But I was still collectively, out of my second stringers, my third stringers, I was still able to get them to produce. I can bring that type of mentality both offensively and defensively. Crispy bacon.
That's great, Robert. What's wrong with the Chargers?
Crispy bacon.
All right. Well, very nice, guys. I appreciate your answers. Very great answers. I'll certainly take all of those answers into account. The next one, we really value the coaching staff that we have, and we feel like our last head coach was a little bit too particular, let's say, for certain staff members and holding on to them a little bit too long. So we want to know that the staff you're bringing with you, I know you can't guarantee who the staff is right now, but I just want to get to figure out, I want to know from you guys, talk to me about your preferred staff just on offense and on defense, and one reason why each guy is the right candidate for the job. Jason, I'll start with you.
You look at what I had in Dallas. I love Chris Richard a lot. And, bringing him in as a defensive coordinator, I think would be a great voice for this team. He's a potential head coaching candidate in this league. But he didn't have a job this year because of the staff changes at Dallas. I think he's a great guy that you can plug in at DC. And as for offensive coordinator, I think there's a lot of guys you can plug in around the league. I personally like a lot of what Marcus Brady has done in Indianapolis. And he's done a great job coaching the quarterbacks over there, reviving Phillip Rivers' career. And I have a quarterback background myself from Princeton. And I think that, bringing him in, you can work a lot with Justin Herbert, develop him, and he's done great work with 3 different quarterbacks in a row with Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, and now Phillip Rivers. So I think he's a great fit for offensive coordinator.
Very nice. Crispy bacon, Bobby Saleh. What about you?
So coordinator-wise, Tom, as far as just offensively and defensively, I spent a lot of time under Gus back when he was the head coach in Jacksonville as a linebackers coach. I know his system. I know the way that he utilizes Derwin James to the best of his ability. Me going from one Bosa brother to another, that would be something that I would be very enthusiastic about as far as utilizing him to his best potential. But again, the pieces that we have in place defensively, I really like what Rob Miles has instituted in that secondary. Offensively, got to give it to Pep Hamilton. for me, from the defensive standpoint, I could use all the offensive help that I could get. Shane Steichen, I know, is on contract with you guys for 2021, but having these collective minds together, I think that if we just adjust certain things here and there, I think that we can get this on track.
Very nice. Brian.
This coaching staff is okay, but it could be better. I think for me, I can bring in some offensive mind. I can bring in some swag that can get this team in the right place. To be honest, Robert Saleh, I'd love for you to be my defensive coordinator when you don't get this one and I get it. That would be fantastic. Pep Hamilton, look, I know how to groom quarterbacks, as does he. You look at Josh Allen, look what he's doing right now. We're at 14-10 at halftime. I mean, I know how to groom quarterbacks. I've done it for a while, and doing that with Pep Hamilton would be great. Me and Pep alongside Justin Herbert would be magic for this team.
Okay. Urban, you have a big one to answer here. Who are you bringing with you?
I think that's a good question. I don't know if I want to answer that, honestly. I think what I would like to talk about is I'd like to talk about our quarterback competition and the quarterback for the backup quarterback. And what I'd like to see is I'd like to bring in Tim Tebow. I'd like to bring him in. I'd like to have him compete against some of our good Easton Stick, Tyrod Taylor, and see who can really muster up what it takes to really take this team up and over the top in terms of a backup quarterback. So in terms of your question, I don't think I'll be answering that, but I will answer that question and next question.
Appreciate your time. Thank you. Eric.
Well, I feel we need a strong-minded guy on defense, and I feel like I could reach out to ESPN and get Rex Ryan to come off of that lame show and actually join a winning team for once. You never see ESPN be a winning team. That's why they lost all their fan base. And then I would like to bring Brian Dable over, a guy that knows how to groom a quarterback, someone that will actually make Herbert's ceiling become even more of a ceiling. Right now, the ceiling's about, I say, a 3-story house. I bring Dable can make that become a nice little skyscraper. I would like to also show that I've been watching all these games, watching Brian Dable right now coach and being ready to prepare to coach against him if he ends up winning this game. And I would like to show that he's a good guy at developing Josh Allen. Josh Allen's moving the ball down the field right now. We're really looking forward to playing against him, and hopefully Brian Dable can join us.
Unlikely. Arthur.
So I would say that as far as the coaching staff goes, I mean, I have some guys here on the Tennessee Titans staff that I would think about, but I would definitely want to be an open interviewing process. If I want to talk to Pep Hamilton, Shane Steichen, get on the same page as them, we can look at that option. I'm not going to promise anything because the only thing I want for this team is a win. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but my dad's worth $5.4 billion. So I'm just football all the time. I mean, I don't do this for the paycheck. I do it for the love of the game. So for me, there are a couple of guys I have in mind. I'd like to talk to Joe Barry from the Rams, linebackers coach. I'd love to talk to Rob Mayo with the Patriots, another guy I would like to potentially see on this staff, maybe give him a little raise, but I'm just looking for the right attitude. I think defensively, we need that attitude. We need that edge. We need somebody who wants to preach physicality. On the offensive side of things, I'm sure that whoever we bring in here, we can get a game plan together to really exemplify the talent on this team. So I want to keep an open mind as far as the coaching staff I'd bring in, but there's definitely a certain winning attitude that I'm looking for.
Very nice. Last but not least, Brandon.
Yeah. So, I saw you guys' press release that you're looking for innovation. And I think, that would be something that me and passing game coordinator Shane Waldron could be able to do here for the Chargers. I think, that system, that Shanahan-McVay system is so quarterback friendly. I think Justin Herbert would be able to thrive in that kind of system. I mean, you've seen what it's done for Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I think that would be the perfect system for Justin Herbert. And defensively, I can bring over Joe Barry, my linebackers coach. I can talk to Vic Fangio, my mentor, and work some things out with him in terms of other position coaches in Denver and Chicago. And really, I just think that scheme-wise, the pairing of the Shanahan system and what I've learned through the Fangio system would be, perfect, cause a lot of problems for opposing defenses and offenses. And I think we'd be able to thrive with the staff that I could bring in.
All right. Thank you much. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm Chinese. No, I'm not. I'm Telesco. So we're gonna get into our candidate specific questions now, and I have to start with Jason here. You are as bland a coach as I can remember, but one characteristic that stands out is your incessant clapping. Talk to me about the purpose of clapping and how it improves your football team.
Look, you always got to support your guys. I mean, if you're not clapping, your ass is gonna get sent packing. All right. I coached 10 years in the NFL, and that's what I did. You know, none of these other guys have coached at all in the NFL. And you know what they've also don't do on the sidelines? They don't clap. If you don't clap, you don't coach in the NFL. And that's just what I got to say there. I mean, you got to show support to your quarterback. You know, some people said Anthony Lynn didn't support Justin Herbert enough. I would be clapping for him every day, hoping I keep my job. So you got to just do that.
Appreciate your answer. Thank you. So, Robert, you've been someone particularly this past year who has taken an injured defense and elevated them beyond expectation. I feel our former defensive coordinator has had too many excuses and needs elite talent to have a good defense. So, what is it that makes you more successful than Bradley?
I can get the best out of my guys. I know how to put them in the best position to win, regardless of the fact that whether we're talking about our starters or our secondary players. We're all in one collective vision to know what the goal is on this team. And I can bring that both offensively and defensively. And I'm just going to end with this. Avoid the clap.
I'll take that into account. Thank you. Brian, next up, I want you to run me through a 2-minute drill on offense, answering in whatever way that means to you. You're also muted.
Sure. If I was the previous coach, I'd probably start off with a first down run, second down run, third down pass, probably punt it, maybe fumble the punt, who knows? But that's not me. You look at what I've been doing in Buffalo. You look at the statistics that I have. This offense is humming because of the emphasis that I put on putting people on their heels. If you look at the offensive numbers that I bring to this team, it's because I dictate tempo with my team. So I want to have misdirection. I want to have play action. I want to have jet sweeps. I want to get people in space so that way they be open. So when I'm looking at what defense I'm going after, I'm looking at how I can get multiple receivers open, how I can get my offensive line moving. Now I can get Justin Herbert the ball with enough space to get down the field. If you look at the success that we've had, I've had it with Josh Allen. I've had it in Alabama. I've had it here with New England. I've won 5 Super Bowl rings. I've won a national championship. That's because I know how to win when it's most important. And that is the 2-minute on both sides of the half.
All righty. Thank you. Urban, back to you. Let's see what kind of answer you have. So you have little to no NFL coaching experience. It's a different animal up here in the NFL. How will you translate your college success to the NFL?
Tom, can I call you Tommy? Is that good?
Fine.
Can I call you Tommy?
Sure.
Yeah. So I think, getting Urban, getting Nick Saban.
A headache there?
Goddamn headaches. I call them the Nick Sabans. They're just goddamn headaches. Give me a second. All right. Sorry. What was your question again? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. How will you translate your college success to the NFL?
I think that's pretty easy. You're looking at him. It's Joey Bosa. He's my best friend. We talk all the time. I love him a lot. I think he's going to lead our defense to one of the top defenses in the league next year. And I just want to grab on his coattails and take him for a ride. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to win games, and Joey Bosa wins games. So that's my answer. Next question.
Yes, he does. All right, Brandon, next to you. So this defense has quite a bit of talent, in particular former All-Pro Derwin James and rookie standout Kenneth Murray, and of course, Joey Bosa. What's your vision for this defense when everyone is healthy?
Well, I think, the first thing that we want to bring in terms of a defensive staff is, creating confusion for opposing quarterbacks. As a former quarterback myself, I know how difficult it is to go up against a defense that's always moving around and flying around. And, we'll mix in some 3-4 fronts, and we'll mix in some 4-3 fronts, and we'll move whichever cornerback we draft in the first round, because that's definitely a huge need for your team. And have him cover, whoever I want, and kind of moving around like Jalen Ramsey does for me with the Rams. And I think, Derwin James is a very valuable chess piece that you can bring off the edge, you can bring in the middle, you can have him cover deep. And I think really just versatility and scheme and players is the key to what I want to do defensively and what I would bring to this team.
Great. Thank you. Next up, Arthur. So the defense in Tennessee, which is kind of out of your hands as an offensive coordinator, has really struggled, and your offense has always had to keep pace. What would you do differently here in Los Angeles as an offensive-minded head coach to help your defense? Is it game plan? Is it the right defensive coordinator, players? What is it?
Well, the first thing I would say is I have nothing to do with that. All right. Whatever they're doing on that side of the ball. I mean, I've talked to Vrabel about, potentially Your defensive guy, defense hasn't been great. Come over here. Come with me. Ride my coattails for a little bit. But I would like to also say that I got my start defensively. I was a defensive quality control coach. I mean, I've seen both sides of the ball. But the one thing I will say is, hey, listen, my offense is going to be on the field for most of the game if you've watched anything of what I've done. So my defense is going to be the most well-rested defense that there is. And I mean, we won't be trading for guys like Desmond King that come in here and screw up the locker room. Okay. So we're going to have a better defense, mostly because our offense is going to be so much better. We're going to get leads on people. We're going to keep our defense rested, and we're going to dictate to them what they want to do.
Very nice. Eric, I turn it to you now. I'd like you to criticize our offense from last year. What happened and how will you fix that?
Well, that offense obviously doesn't have an offensive line. If I come here, I'll definitely make that my first priority. As someone who is the only candidate on here with an AFC Championship Chargers ring and a Super Bowl with the Chiefs last year, none of y'all have that kind of experience. I know.
Left my national championship trophy at home. I don't have it here. It's not my office. I got it back at home. So
yeah, you can
continue. Enjoy. What's your ring all about? Go ahead.
It doesn't. The rings don't have dust on that. Chiefs ring doesn't have dust on it like yours does. But I'll make sure to know that we have an offensive line. And then I would also say the 2-minute drill was absolutely horrible. We're going to maximize practice and make sure the 2-minute drill is absolutely effective with this offense. And Justin Herbert will be reaching his ceiling within the next few years. We got to make sure we don't peak too early. The one reason I don't have a 94 Chargers championship ring is because we peaked in the 94 AFC championship and it went downhill from there. We will not peak too early with this Chargers offense. I feel like this Chargers offense peaked right about week 4 against the Saints. After that, they just went downhill. Everything started to fizzle out with Anthony Lynn. This team will not fizzle out under me.
Very nice. All right. Let's move on to our last set of individual questions, guys. You're doing great so far. Here we go. Robert, hope your bacon is crispy and good for this last one. I want you to run me through a 2-minute drill on defense. You have Patrick Mahomes down 5 from the 25 with 2 minutes left. What is your overall approach?
Well, let's see. I would definitely get the hell out of zone defense. That's for sure. How about we blitz some people and blitz more people than just Joey Bosa or Derwin James? How about utilizing Uchenna Nwosu every now and then rather than these 17 and 19 snaps that we had Gus Bradley doing? How about you mix in some confusions with some stunts? Put yourself defensively in a position where you can stay aggressive. Put yourself in a position where you can win. I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes crossing that 50-yard line at all. So got to stay aggressive on defense, have to attack him. I have a lot of experience going up against Patrick Mahomes in the biggest stage of them all in the Super Bowl. Yes, we lost, but still, I can figure out the right type of defense to contend with him two times a year.
Very nice. Another defensive coach, Brandon. So anyone who takes this job needs to have a great offensive game plan. That is obviously our focus with Justin Herbert now. Now, while we can appreciate what you do on defense already, we need to know that Justin Herbert is in good hands. So how will you ensure that our offense is in good position?
I think first and foremost it is, having that constant communication with whoever I decide to be offensive coordinator, whether that be Shane Steichen or Shane Waldron. I love my Shanes. Shanes are my best friends. And I just think, that constant communication is really key to building an offensive game plan. And, it's been said a few times, we got to protect Justin Herbert. He's the engine that will drive this franchise. And frankly, all those yards under pressure are great, but, we would like those to come down and be able to protect him more often and be able to get those 2-minute drills in the end zone. I just think, there's a little bit of roster reworking that we need to make happen here, as well as putting Justin in the best system, which I think, I would feel comfortable with my quarterback experience and the coaches that I could bring in, that Justin could be put in the best situation, and really just got to feed Keenan Allen the ball, man. I think, 20 targets a game probably is good enough for me. You can throw the ball to Hunter Henry every once in a while if you want, but I think Keenan Allen probably should be around 2,000 yards receiving every single year. I think that's pretty good.
That'd be a interesting number there. I appreciate you being able to figure that out if you can. All right. So I'll bring it back to Urban. Hope your headache's doing all right. So we've had 2 coaches under my tenure leave in less than 5 years due to poor performances, but it's never been because they decided to leave or due to health concerns. So your success affects my own job security now, and I can't be hiring a 4th head coach in just a couple of years. So how can I know I can trust you with this franchise?
Well, I think that's the $12 million question. And as soon as that check clears, I'll let you know about that, because I'm not worried about my health. I'm worried about winning football games. So what I'd like to talk about, because I know you have an agenda, but I want to infuse myself into the culture. I want you to know what you're getting with me.
Okay.
And what you're getting with me is I'm really good at calling timeouts. You don't have to worry about me taking improper timeouts. Okay. I'm good at timeouts. So back to your question, as soon as that check clears, I'll get you that info. I'll get you my physical over there right quick.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll talk to Dean.
Good
All
deal.
right, Jason, how do you get this team over the hump when you never could yourself?
I mean, you look, Dallas. Look, Jerry Jones. I love the man like a father to me. All right, one of my greatest allies. But he did interfere in the team quite a bit and didn't quite give me the vision that I wanted. Right, So if we have a more natural GM coach dynamic, I think we can set up the personnel well. I trust your drafting abilities, given the high profile talent you've assembled. Trade Pipkins aside. But there's been a lot of promise with this team, and I think we can get it over the hump. With Dallas, there was always one or two things that went wrong. Primarily the defensive side of the ball. I think we can figure out the defense. And look, the offensive line, that's a problem here. And I did a great job in Dallas when it came to building offensive lines. And if you've got guys in the trenches, that's more than half the battle to me. So I think that's pretty good. And hire me.
All right, we'll consider that. Thank you. Eric, good to see you back on Zoom. I thought you left, and just curious if that's why you were bombing all your interviews. Can you tell me about your role in the Chiefs offense? What do you do?
That's a good question. I'd also like to hear the answer to this. And what do you do?
Well, I make sure everyone is doing their job. You got Andy Reid calling the plays. I sit back and make sure everyone's doing their job. I make sure everyone is in formation, that the formation package is in there. And if someone needs a talking, I make sure I'm that guy that gives them the talking. During practice, I run everything on offense. I make sure we are running offense fully. I make sure we're maximizing our offense. We're making sure that we can be prepared for the next week. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is the next game at the next day. You got to maximize your practice and make sure you're ready for the game. If you're not ready for the game, you're going to screw up. So my job is to make sure this team is ready. I may not call the plays, but you are ready for the play.
Okay. Speaking of offense, Brian, we're looking for innovation. So how will you maximize this offense?
I'm sitting here, Tom, and look, I kind of want to take a step back here. You and I are boys. We got the same agent. We went to the same high school. I think if you look at what can make this team successful, it's really three things. It's relationships, it's success, and taking care of an opportunity to win. And we have the relationship down, so we won that one. Look at success. I have 5 Super Bowl rings. Anybody else here have that? I don't think so. I've won both college. I've won both in the pros. And just look at the Bills this year. I'm going to read off some stats to you, Tom. I know you're a smart guy. We have right now, 2020 season, Bills, my offense, first and third down conversion, first and fourth down conversion percentage, second in total yards, fourth in passing touchdowns, second in scoring, fifth in completion percentage, third in passing yards per game, third in quarterback rating with Josh Allen, and second in points per game at 31.3. I could bring that to you guys. This Chargers team has such a high ceiling. Imagine what I could do with Justin Herbert if I could do that with Josh Allen. You guys have a ton of talent that has not been maximized. I will go through and make sure every position is ready to succeed. You and me both can make our high school proud.
Tommy, can I jump in here real quick? I just want, and I want you to know, I also want to be a part of ownership when I get in there. So I have a question. I have a question for Dayball. What happens? I know, thank you for coming in at halftime at your game and kind of talking us through where you're at. What happens if you lose to Phillip Rivers today? What does that mean for your status as a coach in the league? And I'll take your answer off there.
I can do it on air if you'd like. To be honest, I think if I'm doing that, I'm doing that for you because I want to interview with you guys as soon as possible. And the faster I can get out of here, the faster I can actually become your head coach. Second of all, Phillip Rivers is my guy. I'd like to see him win. But let's be real. I'm probably going to win this game, so I can answer that offline.
So you're intentionally tanking this game so you can interview with me faster.
I am looking at the opportunities of losing.
Gotcha.
I want to say I'll never do a Zoom call in the middle of the third quarter as long as I'm the head coach of this football team. All right. That will never happen, COVID-19 or not.
You know, the pandemic just brings up strange things. Yep.
I can multitask. Look at my team.
Gotcha. Well, Brian, I don't remember you much from high school. I was too busy playing Magic the Gathering. So I'll move on to Arthur now. So, Arthur, while you may have the QB situation figured out here in Los Angeles and at least two great weapons in Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, you won't have that same offensive line you had in Tennessee, and you certainly won't have Derrick Henry. So what's your approach to this offense given the different mix of talent here?
Well, let me just start by saying one thing. In my time in Tennessee, the one thing I have learned is to tighten up. You know, I mean, you need to tighten up the defense, tighten up the offense, definitely tighten up the special teams. I mean, all of that could be much tighter than it is right now. But I also would like to say that Derrick Henry wasn't Derrick Henry before I showed up in 2019, okay? I mean, I know everyone's seeing him stiff-arm people into oblivion right now, but I would also tell you that before I got here, the most rushing yards he's ever had was 1,049. I think he put up 2K this year. So I would also say that the offensive line, if you're really watching the games, which unfortunately I have to do a lot, but I would say that it's not as good as people might think it is. I mean, and that's the great thing I would bring to the table is that the sum is better than just the collection of the parts. So I think that obviously this team has a lot of work as a former offensive lineman. Like I've told you, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but the one thing I think that you guys were not maximizing was Justin Herbert's legs, especially in the red zone. We've been top 2 in red zone efficiency over the last couple of seasons. You're talking about going up against teams like the Chiefs. You better get down there. You better score once you get down there, because not only do you have to come up with a good defensive game plan, you also have to be able to keep up. So I would say that when you look at what Ryan Tannehill did, I mean, 6 rushing touchdowns in 7 seasons in Miami. In the last 2 seasons, the last 28 games, really, he has 11 rushing touchdowns. So I think that all of those things will help the offensive line. All of those things will help the running back, just because you always have to account for that other option. When Justin Herbert runs read option, for me, people are going to be afraid of him actually tucking it, because he will do that. Not trying to get the prized possession hurt, but if you have those legs, if you look like a 6'6" Adonis, maybe just run out there, shoulder somebody, you know, knock out a linebacker, do what you got to do. And I plan to do all those things with the Chargers. Tighten up.
I could vouch for you. My guy does the same thing at quarterback too.
Okay.
But mine's Ryan Tannehill.
Have I mentioned Tim Tebow? I think I mentioned him earlier. He's pretty good at that too.
Hey, what about Easton Stick, man?
He's okay. I like him. It's good.
Who?
I'll keep him.
And scene. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. We are back to ourselves.
Oh,
guys,
thank
oh,
God.
wow.
Holy
God.
shit. What
God.
happened? Oh, man.
We didn't get
That
a
was
single
awesome.
clap from Jason Garrett.
Dude, that's what I was waiting for that. the
I
whole
was going to
time.
hire him as soon as he clapped.
To be fair, you didn't tell me that we were out of character. So I'm going to go back in character, and to all the coaching candidates who are with us today, give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah.
That was really, really great.
The thing about
good,
clapping
guys.
is you got to clap when it's good. You got to clap when it's bad. That's the thing. You know, it
What was
doesn't
the
matter if
quote?
you just threw the ball away on 4th down. You keep fucking
If you're
clapping
not
away.
clapping your asses, what was the quote that you said, Alex? I was dying.
No, I said if you're not clapping, your ass gets sent packing.
Clapping or packing.
Oh, man.
That was fun, boys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys
good.
coming on. All of us have, well, not all of us, most of us haven't even met each other until just
Yeah.
now. So this was great. So for
Yeah.
this to work as well as it did, that was wonderful. Thank you all for bringing, your certain things. I'll start with Lockdown. Can you guys give me your Twitters and where we can find you and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, my Twitter's Dan Talk Sports. What else do you need?
Whatever you want to share.
That's all you need, dude.
That's all you need.
That's all you need, man.
Locked on LAC. I don't know.
There we
That's
go.
what it is. Good luck finding John's at on Twitter. That's a fun one.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, dude. Oh, he's gone.
Well,
Did he leave?
it's
There he is.
it's supposed
You
to
know
say
when you sign up for Twitter at 12 years old and then you never change your Twitter handle?
1990s, somewhere in there. 80.
actually I signed up for Twitter when I was 20.
Don't tell people that.
Yeah, I didn't have a social life. Leave me alone.
I was
I,
playing Magic the Gathering, apparently.
I was trying to make it at biggest Charger fan, but it didn't have enough
Obviously,
characters,
that's
so
taken.
it looks like it says it.
Well,
Yeah.
kind of.
It looks like
I
it says
got it.
at Biggest Charger. If you put in my name, John Cagley, and it looks like the at is at Biggest Charger fan, it's me.
Alrighty. And Chargers Brawl, how about you guys?
Dan, you want to take that one?
Sure. At Chargers Brawl is the handle for the podcast. At Chargers Homer for me. I think that's it. And Jake, I guess Jake is also on this group.
Pretty sure we all follow
thanks.
each other too. So
I know.
For the fans.
For the fans, at JT Hefner.
For the
There we go.
fans.
For the fans.
Oh, are we
Yeah.
still recording this?
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Surprise, surprise, Arthur Smith.
Hey!
So don't stand up yet then.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, did I get the job?
Yeah, wait a minute. What was the outcome here? Who
Yeah,
won?
who won?
You
It's gotta
know,
be Urban Meyer. That's the best impression I've ever seen.
I feel like Arthur
you.
Smith
That was
did the best
pretty
job.
damn good.
It was the headache. My justification is the headache would shift in and out of the tone of my voice and my accent. So just leaned into it. That dude's a mess, though. Seriously.
I'm mad that I got such a boring person. I was like watching Arthur Smith. Like
You were
press
giving us
conferences.
facts. I was like,
come on.
Dude,
shit,
that
I
was
wasn't
good.
ready for
I
all
didn't
these
have
awesome
anything else.
facts.
I didn't have anything else.
I was
Except my
trying to-
dad's a
I've-
billionaire.
I had a scene I was gonna do, and then before I got on, I saw that the post that Eric Bieniemy bombed the interviews. Like, okay, I got to bomb the interview now. I got to.
There you go.
That was good.
I gotta,
Sure.
I gotta,
You
gotta
did
see
a
how
good
the
job.
character on that one.
Great job.
Sure.
You're modern day Daniel
Jake,
Day-Lewis over there.
There it is.
Jake,
Oh,
your
gosh.
crispy bacon though with your wife, that was great.
Dude, I was trying to I had to find some reason to yell on here. You know, I know my.
I hope
my
everyone
answers weren't
watches the
best.
video where you're just dangling bacon.
Yeah, they're probably like, "What the hell is this fucking little thing?" You know, going on? But
That's
no,
a
I mean,
great
it's
thing to
really-
yell about, man. Bacon
Hey.
is always something you can.
Yeah.
And does anybody else disagree that they're like bacon has to be like 100% fucking crispy or they
I don't
eat it?
want flimsy bacon. I'll
There
tell
you
you
go.
that.
Flimsy.
And my wife is also locked up, so I mean, I could take a player out when they're not helping the team. You know what I mean? She can come out after.
Oh man, Charger Chat.
Oh,
Where
my
can
gosh.
fans find you guys?
Yeah, so you can check us out, Charger Chat Pod on Twitter and Charger Chat Podcast on Instagram. I have two co-hosts that weren't with us today, and one of them does the really good voices, so I had to step in for him, and he would have been better at this, in all honesty. But yeah, I really appreciate you doing this. Like, it's cool to like just interact on Twitter with all the fans, and it's just
Sure.
fun to see everybody coming together. I haven't experienced anything like this since becoming a Charger fan way back when, so I appreciate you guys doing this.
No, I mean neither. It's awesome, and you know, Steven and Alex. I've still not even met you guys in person. Haven't met Jason either in person, so it's pretty cool to know you guys. Steven, you usually are our host, so you can take us out.
All right, sounds good. Well, we thank everyone for joining us today, especially Jason Garrett and his clapping ability. Make sure you follow us at Guilty as Charged 17, at Stephen I. Hagelin, at Tyler J. Schoon, and Alex Lansdorf 99. That'll do it for us today, guys, and we will see you next time. Hopefully, Philip Rivers is sealing up a win right now.
Good, love you, bye.